ਦੇ ਦਿਲ ਪਰਦੇਸੀ ਨੂੰ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਨਿਤ ਦਾ ਰੋਣਾ ਪੈ ਜਾਊਗਾ ਨਾਲ ਰੰਜੇਟੇ ਜੋਗੀ ਦੇ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਜੋਗਣ ਹੋਣਾ ਪੈ ਜਾਊਗਾ
ਇਸ਼ਕ ਦੇ ਲਿਆ ਜ਼ਖਮਾਂ ਦੇ ਖੁਦ ਹੱਸ ਕੇ ਮੂੰਹ ਸੀ ਲਾਂਗੀ ਜੇ ਯਾਰ ਮੇਰਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਜ਼ਹਿਰ ਦੇ ਮੈਂ ਘਟ ਘਟ ਕਰਕੇ ਪੀ ਲਾਂਗੀ
Hey everyone, welcome to Flywheel, your number one source for everything Frax, DeFi, and everything in between. If you want to know what's going on in the world on chain, you've come to the right place. This is DeFi Dave, here with capital K, and we're here to help you harness the power of the Flywheel and talk about getting deep into the Flywheel. We had on the Llamas. We have people on in the Curve Convex ecosystem that are doing some really cool things, building out the official NFTs for that ecosystem. Kiet, what are your thoughts on the episode?
Dude, first thing, I was like, these are DeFi guys, but they're building an NFT project. So I thought that was a pretty damn interesting thing. And I really am excited to see how this project works out because like I've never had a DeFi team build an NFT project. So I just want to see what kind
and
of
it sounds like they have like actual utility within the ecosystem, and all the people they're having to help, like with the code and stuff. It's not going to be your standard ERC 721. Like this is going to be real utility, and like this whole alpha episode was alpha because if you want like people talk about like, oh, like when are my JPEGs are going to do something? Well, your JPEGs are going to do something here, and not only that, they're really cool looking, and the way they're like utilizing AI to build out and like to create these llamas is like quite interesting.
These are organic, artisanal llamas.
Right? Yeah, spoken into existence. Fresh from the prompt. If you want to get fresh content every time, every day of the week, make sure you subscribe to our Substack, Flywheel Output. We've been really outputting a lot of content there. So make sure you click the link below and subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube. Leave us a comment. Give us a like. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at FlywheelFi. Don't forget to join the conversation on Telegram at FlywheelFi. You can follow me on Twitter at DeFi Dave22.
You can follow me at 0xcapital_K.
And let's get the flywheel spinning. Do you hold ETH but don't know what to do with it? Want to earn those juicy liquid staking derivative yields but don't know where to start? Well, FrxETH is there for you. FrxETH is Frax's native LSD solution, allowing you to earn boosted yields in multiple ways on your ETH. If you want to get started, go to app.frax.finance and turn your ETH into FrxETH today. Greetings, everyone. Today, I am pleased to announce that we have the Llamas on. The Llamas working on some Curve Convex NFTs, and I've seen them been grinding for a while. We have PK, who we've been in touch for several months now. We have Panda, and we have Hawth. Guys, thank you for coming on this episode. I love having like Frax and Curve people on together. It just feels like, like brothers getting along, just like, everyone's together and everything. So guys, thanks for coming on. Vibing.
Hey, thanks guys. Yeah,
thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. Let's just get right into it. I would love to, before we get into the llamas, I want to get into what you guys are up to and like how you guys ended up in this very interesting corner of DeFi. So what are your backgrounds and how'd you guys get involved in the whole Curve ecosystem? Panda, we'll lead it off with you.
Ooh, okay. So like lots of people, I bought the top in 2017. And yeah, many people did that. And then I kind of made the mistake of losing interest for a while until I kind of got into DeFi in DeFi summer, but towards the tail end as well. And I started hearing about Curve and reading about Curve and kind of gravitated there. My problem was like having bought the top and not making any money for years, that I kind of needed something to, to kind of democratize Curve, make it more accessible for like a smaller bag. So that's when I heard about Convex. And I was like, great, so I can leverage this. I don't have to lock for 4 years, gas wars, all of that kind of stuff. So I got into Convex really early, and there was a good crowd. And then much like the liquidity on Curve, sticky, everyone's stuck around. And I just ended up never leaving. So yeah, that's me.
The liquidity's sticky, the community's sticky. You love to see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
PK, what about you?
Yeah, I got into DeFi pretty early, like into the whole DeFi thing. Like crypto's been around, over a decade. Ethereum, another year or two, we're closing in on a decade. But DeFi itself is only 3.5 years old or something like that, maybe 4.
Mhm.
And I wasn't at the very beginning, but I was pretty early on. And Curve's been around since basically the start. It's like the center of everything. You can't have DeFi
Mhm.
without Ethereum and without stable dollar liquidity. And Curve
Mhm.
is the OG stable dollar liquidity home of the entire world. So I really got into convex, similar to Panda. I like kind of the idea of the derivative product. Before crypto, I was like into options and TradFi. So the idea of the derivatives and the leveraging and all of that really clicked with me. And then of course, the whole
It
Frax.
really tickled. It really tickled your fancy, huh?
Yeah, definitely. And Frax, of course, it was right there. You can't have convex and curve without Frax. They all kind of own each other. It's a mutual beneficial relationship. It's like the feedback loop. We saw the feedback loop kind of
Mm.
unwind a little bit. People are talking about the death spiral. That doesn't exist. We went down, but there's real yield, and when there's real yield and real use, and Curve is the only thing, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, in all of DeFi where the governance actually matters. It's like whatever 97, 98% governance participation. It's because it matters, because protocols need governance to stabilize their protocols. Um, and Curve does that better than anybody. So it's like the best use case validator in DeFi, as far as I'm concerned.
Hell yeah. Hawth, up to you. PK, there's obviously some questions I want to get to later, but I want to get Hawth's backstory first.
Yeah, totally. I am also class of 2017. I I was on kind of on Twitter trying to figure out how like a maker worked, and these like a banks popping up on the blockchain. I think that's how people talked about them back in that at that time. But
Mhm.
I tripped into the Curve Telegram, and the team was really nice, and it was an and I like I wanted to try out a maker, and so I began to LP in a Ypool when that first launched, and that kind of changed my crypto trajectory into this into just the craziness that was a DeFi summer with like Wi-Fi and Compound and all that just getting crazy. And I can't talk about that time without talking about like a, a, a tendies and a based and all the like crazy degen ones too.
You're taking me down memory lane.
I know, right?
Nostalgia.
Such a pure time, honestly. It was just like everything was for the very first time. Wait, so you were
Oh, I
farming
know.
Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
Wi-Fi? Okay.
Yeah. My like crumbles of my bag after getting just absolutely demolished in 2018. I went to the Wi-Fi farm, and I survived.
You survived. You got out of it, and now we're all here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And PK, there's a point I want to say. You said death spirals. That ain't a thing. That's impossible. We know. Can you get into that a bit more? Like, what do you mean? Because like, there's a lot of haters and doubters out there at Curve, and we see them on Twitter. So this is your chance to answer them.
Oh boy. I guess the idea of the death spiral is like it's going to go to zero or down 99.9% or whatever. And Curve, expanding on earlier, Curve is like the only, I see as the only stable dollar launchpad that works in the world. Anywhere else, people can seed their LP on 100 different dexes, but it doesn't mean they're going to hold their peg. Doesn't mean the liquidity is going to be deep. So the Curve offers through their governance is any like new DAO or project or protocol or whatever with a stable dollar or a synthetic or whatever it is. they can basically bootstrap themselves in their peg to a pretty large degree, better than anywhere else, through the Curve governance. Like through Convex, through Curve, they can basically buy, my votes to make sure that enough Curve emissions go to their pool to incentivize their liquidity and to maintain their peg while they're kind of starting out and are a brand new baby. Like I'll go on a little more. I mean, the whole dollar protocol right now, it's not supposed to be under collateralized, and it is through bad debt and a couple different things went down, but they still have their peg. And if they're on anywhere else but Curve, I don't think they would have their peg. But because of the governance, and they're really, I don't know how long it will last and everything, but they're managing it, they're micromanaging it through their through the curves and the governance and the yield and everything, to make sure that they're holding it for now.
For sure. Like Curve is the center for stablecoins. It really is the foundation, layer zero, for all kinds of stablecoins. That first dollar stablecoins, like the central bank of crypto. I don't think Frax would exist without Curve. I don't think Frax would have been able to like bootstrap the way it did and like all these other different crypto collateralized stablecoins. Like otherwise we'd just be in a world stuck with your MakerDAOs and your like mostly centralized cryptos. But like Curve gives an arena for these dollar stablecoins to blossom.
Gives them a
and
chance.
Gives them a chance. And now what we're seeing is like stablecoins. There's a bigger world beyond dollar stablecoins. Now you have LSDs, and this is like this is where it gets. Yeah, this is where it gets real interesting because now you have all these different, ETH LSDs coming online, and they're going to need a place to ensure liquidity, especially right now before Shanghai, and especially like who knows, like after Shanghai, who knows how that's going to turn out. And Curve is becoming the arena. And it seems like every LSD but Frax is ill prepared for that battle.
100%. FrxETH,
what are your thoughts?
Stable pair or base pair, FrxETH base pair.
Yeah, FrxETH base pair. Like when FrxETH, they've been talking about that, right?
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy just to watch the locks and just that like Frax knows how to like work with a Curve, and they know, and they made this a really elegant token model, and it's just been absolutely wild to watch it climb every day. It just is
every
like
day.
higher. Yeah, it is. It's cool.
Yeah. Kiet sees, this week we did Frax check, and that hockey stick growth, that's undeniable. It's crazy to see. It's funny because back in April, I hosted a meetup in Amsterdam, the first ever Frax Bull meetup. Bringing to people, like I think 15 people showed up, and I got Sam to FaceTime, and it was there that he announced, I think for the first time ever, that they were building an ETH LSD. Was at that meetup because he was like, essentially like, it's just a stable coin, but it's just pegged to ETH. And that was back in April. And to see like he had the vision of like where like LSDs were going, and now it's like the big meta on Twitter is like LSDs, like the Frax team was seeing that back in April and June, and now everybody and their mother's hopping on LSDs. So do you guys see like anything else and like any other stable coins like popping up in the picture? Like now you have LSDs, like ETH LSDs. Do you see like maybe like other types of LSDs? Maybe like do you see like BTC stable coins making a comeback? Like I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think what's a really what's really cool, and this kind of ties to Curve as well, is I think that like a liquidity pools will begin to be tokenized, and it could be Bitcoin, it could be Ether, could be whatever, but I think these protocols are going to take like a liquidity pools to launch their digital dollar coins.
Yeah, and like I feel like this brings more and more of like a use case for Curve, because it's not just dollar stable coins, it's all these other stable coins, and that just like leads to more activity, more governance, and then it's just like the emissions bootstrap the actual fees, and at the end of the day, it's like we want the fees to be self-supporting, and we'll see.
Oh, totally. And it's also like a permissionless, and like Curve's security is top notch, and even if a problem happens, like nobody gets drained or whatever.
Yeah.
They just close the pool and you can
Speaking of
withdraw.
security, you guys just like nodded, like kind of nodded something in my memory a bit about the whole Mochi situation when Mochi like was about to
Mm.
like take
Oh,
over Curve governance. Can we like take a trip down memory lane and like what are your guys' thoughts on how Curve governance? Because they pulled the emergency lever on that. How do you
hmm
guys like look back on the situation, how it was handled, and what are you guys' thoughts on that?
I think, like going back to that time, we were all in Convex and we were promised a big airdrop, which we're still waiting for, no, no.
Soon, TM.
Yeah, no. Seriously, I'd actually talk about the positives that came out of that. Since then, we've had the big involvement of Llama Risk. Well, many people know them as the Crypto Risk team. They've just had a big rebrand to Llama Risk. And I think that's been really interesting now to have like a third party that is independent. They do take a grant as well, but they're basically as independent as you could be in this area, and they're providing detailed information, detailed reports. They've got some of the best brains in crypto, trying to keep LPs safe. So I think in that regard, maybe it was a necessary evil. We could have like opened the floodgates to everyone, just handed out gauges, let all the shit coins in. And as this kind of happened pretty early on at the beginning, there hasn't really been any cases since. And if as long as we continue being given such good information, people can vote in an informed manner. So I think it was a tough one and it was a bad narrative at the time, but coming out of it, we've come out really strong.
I think it
Yeah.
was an interesting time as well because a lot of us in the Vodium protocol were trying to capture this like decentralized venture capitalist use case out of like what a Vodium could evolve into, and I think it was just like really bad luck that the one time that the community kind of aligned to try it that it was a mochi. But to a Panda's points though, I think like a lot of positives came out of it.
When you say like, oh, going for this like decentralized hedge fund angle, what do you mean by that?
Oh, just at the time, we were kind of talking of like, like convex controls it was that it was beep for fractionalized voting on convex, and it was kind of the chooser and what controlled curve at the time, and we were just trying to crack this, like could we as a community kind of like incubate new projects and like create the tokens all of us wanted to have.
Mm-hmm.
And like we tried and we got Hamochi, and I and like and then we got the Hel- Llama Risk team out of it, and that's probably the best
Yeah.
case scenario.
Honestly, they're phenomenal. Like their reports are super well written, super detailed, very unbiased. Like they go over every little bit, like anything you want to know about, potential stable coming up. Whether I remember reading about Frax, they got Luna pretty well. They had their warnings for Luna, and like they were right. Like the warnings are like there, for
Yeah.
Terra. Um, and so, it's also interesting to see, like, over the past 2 years, like, in the world of stablecoins, it seems, I consider stablecoins, like, kinda like the holy grail of crypto, like, who can, like, have, like, the top dollar peg stablecoin, like, Was it, first you had, Danny, and then you had like Doe, and like it seemed like whoever was in charge of like the stablecoin became the main character of CT or whatever. And so like, what are your guys' thoughts on like, what it takes to be a leader in the stablecoin space, what these guys did wrong, and like, what, if you're like running a stablecoin, like what you should do right?
Slow and steady growth. You don't need to rush it. I think Frax. Frax has proved itself that they've held the peg through it all. I mean, Terra collapsed. All the FTX stuff. Black Swan after Black Swan this last year, 3-4 in a row, and Frax is killing it. They're still 1.00001. And nothing's hurting them. We've gone through the craziest things I can possibly imagine, and not only are they here, they're stronger than ever, shipping new products. It's like when every base pair, not just ETH base pair. When's the Bitcoin coming out? When is the complete pure Frax Crypto coming out? It's all on Frax. I'm definitely a Fraximalist. I have some Frax or FXS locked for 4 years. I'm full send.
Yeah, let's hear your Frax Bull case. Like, let's get into that more. Like, how'd you get into Frax? What do what really caught your eye about Frax, and what do you think like Frax is really doing right?
I got into Frax. A lot of it through Convex. I've been taking a lot of my bribes or my votes every 2 weeks into Frax. So supporting the liquidity and locking it up and farming and yielding. I'll say my secret share here. I have my main portion of ETH is split between FrxETH and the FrxETH ETH pair. And a lot of people are paired on Curve. A lot more people are paired on Convex. But I think the secret here is the Frax.convex vaults. And you can lock it up for a week, you can lock it up for a year, and you get that extra FXS yield on top of all the other yield. And people don't realize like you can be getting decently over 10% through the vault. And the really special thing, I have a couple different kind of vaults set up different times, some really long locks and some shorter locks, but you can lock it for a really short amount of time, like a week, and then you'll kind of still be liquid if like you're afraid, whatever. But you'll still get, after the unlock, you still kind of get some extra base FXS yield off of that. And that's kind of the best possible place you can put your liquid ETH as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I'm honestly like, I'm just straight up on the Frax app.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can get more Frax than that. I'm just like, I'm locked up. I'm going to use this locked up FXS for a reason. I'm not, no fees, just straight from the source.
The ultimate.
The ultimate Fraxless move, the Frax app. Yeah. But cool. Panda, Hawth, like, I'm curious, like, Panda, like, what are your thoughts on Frax? Like, are you a Fraxman, so you're more so in Curve and you like respect Frax because of like how they've been a participant within the Curve Convex ecosystem?
No, I got my first FXS bag in, I think it was last summer or the year before the run up. I just found the vision really interesting. I kind of aligned myself to that kind of ethos, think big and try and see it through. And I stuck with it, and then slowly started to merge with Curve and with Convex, and they kind of like, where does one end, where does one begin? When you unite the two of them, just like the kind of this chaos power is huge. And then I had some ETH left over, and I thought, I was like, the LSD narrative, and I've been paying a lot of attention to what Sam's saying, like reading the Telegram, blah, blah. And then with Stake FrxETH, I was like, wow, fantastic. I've got a rebasing, interest bearing CDP, no mainnet fees, no mainnet gas, and I can borrow against it. Yeah. And it's all there somewhere I trust. So I've been writing about it a lot on Twitter, and pretty cool now just seeing that the proposal went through, you know, with JPEG. And that's probably, in my opinion, the beginning. Like they're going to open the floodgates now on like pairings against FrxETH, and then we're going to really see this kind of stablecoin narrative really play out, but with ETH. So I'm super
what
bullish.
passed with JPEGs specifically?
So actually, PK can talk more about this because he's actually using JPEG. But it was the JPEG ETH with FrxETH as a pair, right, PK?
I'll be honest. I haven't read the latest governance stuff the last couple of weeks on JPEG. I am in JPEG. I have some NFTs collateralized there, and have some PETH borrowed against that in farming. I have to double check my governance. There's so much going on; it's hard to keep up with everything. But that's another thing. Is like of course, LSDs are the big narrative right now. Maybe the next narrative I'm kind of thinking about is the synthetics. PETH it's holding peg pretty well, and because of the limited way to kind of get into PETH through the NFTs and the amount of like convex that Tetranode owns or JPEG owns, you just like crazy boosted yield compared to basically any other pair. And
Yeah,
and
it's insane.
Yeah, it's insane to see. It's insane to use, and maybe one day llamas will be whitelisted on JPEG. We'll see in a year.
Yeah, maybe we'll see. Speaking of llamas, that's why we're all here. Actually, I'm curious, like, how did llamas become the mascot of the curved convex ecosystem? Let's get into that first, and then let's get into the llamas NFTs.
Oh well.
Oh man, I think that's one of those legends that like
What's
no
the
one knows the
lore?
true answer to.
Yeah, yeah.
The first time I came across it was in the Telegram when Curve was about to launch the DAO, and everyone was just hassling Kendrick, who is the llama mod of and just all the memes were just all these like llamas for I don't know, like 2.5 hours, 3 hours.
Oh, Kendrick Llama.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
There's
And then,
there's so much llama. I mean, outside of convex too, like with Curve, going back to like Curve founding, I think Charlie maybe, coming out of Curve, like X, launching like a llama LLC, which kind of backs DeFi llama nonprofit, and then there's some llamas that like aren't directly connected to Curve and convex and Frax, but they're a goodwill DeFi product. They're providing stuff that huge big corporations like Misari and whatever, all these other kind of Web 2.5 companies are like charging $200, $500, $2,000 for a month, depending on your level. DeFi Llama is providing equivalent, if not better, resources in them for free to everybody. And so I think the llamas kind of stand for like a goodwill thing in DeFi. It's kind of like if you want to be a top tier, you want to be a llama.
yeah, for sure. And DeFi Llama has been, they came off with a bang, because I remember it was like DeFi Pulse was the main place for like any information about TVL. They invented TVL, and then they kind of had something against all the other chains. They're like, no, like real DeFi is only on ETH. It's done on BSC, blah blah blah. And then then like DeFi Llama said like, well, fuck that shit. Wherever when it's on chain, whether it's like doesn't matter how decentralized, centralized, this and that, you can get into those debates. Like, we're gonna keep track of it, and it just evolved naturally from there. And it was beautiful to see TVL, and then it got it's like infinite. It feels like it's infinite. All like the different statistics, you can like get lost in these really intricate rabbit holes on DeFi Llama. They really built a phenomenal product, and I'm really happy that they built the meta aggregator.
I was gonna
and they could
say,
actually,
yeah. Now, I mean,
Mhm.
besides analytics, now they're building pure real products here.
Right.
The aggregator of aggregators, like it's insane.
Insane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you guys are right. Like the llama is almost like a symbol of just of good, of baseness. in the
Yeah.
DeFi space, and it's not
Yeah,
like
it's
curve or specific or anything. It's just about being this symbol for everyone to vie
yeah, for
after.
like true DeFi, like I've heard like many times before, like Curve is like the truest DAO, and not just DeFi of all crypto that's like functioning. It's really like a shining example of like what DAOs could become. And the llamas being the mascot of that and representing that is huge. And it just makes sense for like, it's probably overdue, definitely, for the llamas NFTs to come out.
Hmm.
So how did like the llamas NFTs start? Like whose idea was it? You guys like came together and like what was your inspiration? And you guys have been talking about utility within the ecosystem. Let's just jump right into it. PK.
Yeah, I mean, it really has grown. A lot of people have kind of come together here. We're all working, like you said, kind of goodwill, like in a nonprofit kind of way. Everybody's a volunteer. We have over a dozen people working on this, devs from many different protocols in Ethereum, in the Curve ecosystem. We're all kind of contributing little bits. Uh, I don't know how many names I should like drop here or whatever. Like just Jousting is helping with our UI, and so is
Hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
mean, from the crypto risk team or the llama risk, like we were talking about earlier, Nose has helped reviewing some of our code. Curve Cap you just had on, he
Mm-hmm.
helping with our code too, with the badges, with Viper working on that. Um, it's just it's everybody's come together to work on this, and it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't a volunteer nonprofit kind of thing where we're not taking any money. We're not like the team's not charging anything. We're not taking any cuts. All the profit, all the whatever fees of everything's going back to the treasury, and then most of that is basically all of it's getting flywheeled. Most of it's getting airdropped to the users, and a little bit that's not getting airdropped is basically going towards like community DeFi funding, Viper kind of related things. Maybe I don't know if Hawth or Panda want to add a little here.
Yeah. So, oh, I've lost. Yeah, my internet's gone. Sorry. Yeah. So as PK was saying, it's been amazing. Like the feedback that we've had from people inside the eco, and we've always thought that it was best to kind of try and maintain a synergetic approach with everyone, keep them informed on what we were trying to do along the way, so that they could kind of handheld us when we need to be, push us in the right direction here and there. So we like now I can, one great example that no one's aware of so far, since a bit of alpha. Tommy Genesis from Votium has just agreed to be on our multi-sig at the beginning, so for anyone who was a bit nervous about things, like we've got like a really reputable pillar of the kind of the Curve eco who's kind of joining us in that way. And then we've had Fidi Knows and a few others helping us with code. The other thing is our code itself. Garrett forked it for us from the NPCs from his project. So it's great to have those people kind of involved from the very beginning.
Like Alunera,
And-
thrown really quickly too. Llama Air Force,
Oh yeah.
has
Big
given
fan.
us some fork code as well to help us out, and future we have planned future integrations with different protocols in the ecosystem. We won't drop them all yet, but it's like we're tying everything together
Whoa.
here.
So we have a lot of forking around going on
Yeah.
here. I see, a little bit of here from Curve Cap, a little bit from 0x Aluna. Aluna. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Alan,
Aluna.
I
Alanera.
don't know.
He's an
I just remember the green, the red hat.
Yeah, the red hat. The guy with the red hat. Yeah, the TFU. So you don't have to reveal like what who you're exactly partnering with and this and that, but like what kind of utility can DeFi users expect if they hold a llama?
Yeah. Oh, Hawth, do you want to do it?
Oh yeah, I can hop in here. So we have a kind of a multi-pronged approach here that like one of the big like missions of this project is to onboard a new generation into this like Curve world of all these different DAOs and protocols that all connect to Curve, and we are also launching this to be this kind of a connective tissue between all these different groups, and just to better create coordination and opportunity. And then the last one is that these llamas are going to control a treasury that will be uh up up flywheeling and just growing and growing, and there's not a ton of llamas.
There's only
And
so many llamas.
yes, exactly.
The llamas are very rare.
Facts.
So we're gonna be sharing basically we're gonna be airdropping our flywheel yield directly to the llamas. And so in a way, by owning a llama, you're kind of running the entire Curve ecosystem flywheel. One llama is just a little over 1/1000th of the entire, kind of treasury that we own.
Whoa.
So each llama represents, the treasury.
Whoa. So it's like,
okay.
it's just like your ticket to participate in the Curve ecosystem is holding.
Yeah, and
llamas.
so a big thing is there's been a couple tries before, and especially last cycle, there's so much division. Like your NFT maxis, DeFi maxis, there wasn't much bridging crossover, and we think we might, be able to kind of help with that. And especially the last couple months, I've seen a lot of DeFi friends finally starting to buy some NFTs. A lot of NFT people getting more interested in what does real yield mean?
We got some cross pollination going.
Yeah, and so we like to keep spreading that that pollination, and we just want to keep shipping utility. We have 4 or 5 phases kind of planned. I don't know how much we want to. The first phase is obviously the mint. Then we're going to kind of treasury build for a couple months. Then get into the badges. We'll talk about the badges in a little bit. But then the badges and the airdropping from the flywheel. And then beyond that, we have more plans for more utility. Kind of some of it's connected to the badges, some of it's connected to the PFP, ENS kind of domains, and more stuff.
What are the badges you mentioned?
Yeah, it's a big part. I think, does Panda want to talk about this? I'm not sure.
Yeah. Right. So as PK was saying, we've got that, rollout 1, V1 is PFP, getting to know everyone, trading. We wanted to find a floor, everything to calm down. We also wanted to deploy kind of, unlike most people, into the bear. This gives us the best opportunity to accumulate as many eco coins as possible, right? So for us, actually, it's kind of like a benefit. Watching the chart going up is like from a llama's perspective, not the best. It's better if it just comes back down for a little while and lets us farm. I think that kind of stands us out from most NFT projects in that way, is that we actually really we can take advantage of this time. Like, it's a long-term project. So if we just bounce around here in the market, it's great for us. So first we'll launch, and then we'll be farming. We're in discussions with multiple protocols right now to get grants as well from their respective coins, which will then flywheel in as well. So they'll be locked in perpetuity and just will accumulate and accumulate. And then we can move into governance, simple voting on gauges, the classic kind of curve convex route. And then after that, we're going to introduce a badge system. So the badge system in itself is kind of like a digital reputation system, right? And what will happen is, as we see it at the beginning, we will deploy badges, which you can accumulate on-chain, off-chain by completing different actions. The aim of the badges is that it will give a boost to your yield, which is kicked back from the treasury, right? So if we've got 1,000 llamas, 1,111, and only 600 people try and get the badge, they're getting like a big boost. So this is like a kind of gamified incentivization part of
So
the utility.
what could be the badges for? Like, how can one earn a badge?
Yeah, I mean, as Hawthorne said earlier, we're really keen to like onboard new people into the ecosystem and to be crossover. So we don't just want it to be like hardcore niche DeFi kind of stuff, like contributing to the code and this and that. You know, some of it can just be, you know, for example, a new protocol wants to bootstrap and they deploy a badge and say, you know, LPR pool. It can be writing a thread. It could be one that I'm personally quite keen to see is people submit kind of research for the crypto risk team for Llama risk, you know, and if you got published, you know, that could be like a lifetime badge that you hold, you know. The idea is that most of them will decay, kind of an homage to VECRV, but some of them will be lifetime badges. I mean, if the listeners have made it so far, I imagine that there'll be one for everyone who holds from Mint, you know, like a Mentor badge.
A mental.
A
That's
I
Mint,
like
mental.
that.
Mentor,
Mental.
a Mentor.
It's
You know,
kind of
along those lines. So yeah, the scope with what we can do with them is pretty large, and I think long term the goal, as we see it, would be that third parties deploy their own badges, and we can use that as a revenue source for the treasury as well.
Yeah, I just wanted to say it's kind of almost like a degen score that takes
Yeah,
in kind of all of your actions, not just your on-chain actions.
Yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah.
think
That's a good way to put
that's
it.
quite interesting.
yeah.
And
Yeah, totally. But I was gonna say too is it's not like past looking completely, but like we can launch new ones to help to drive activity as
Mhm.
well.
Right. And PK, you mentioned something earlier about treasury building. Well, that's after like the whole mint and such. Could you walk me through how you plan on building this treasury? Because it seems like everything kind of hinges on you guys amassing this fairly large size treasury to generate the yield to kind of give the boost to all the llamas NFT
Yeah,
holders.
Panda and I can both talk about this. We've both been working on some ideas. Panda just drew up a pretty cool graph, a lot of arrows going around. We definitely are going to be working kind of within, well, obviously within Curve, but you know, with the convex too, with the convex wrapped Curve, it has has the deepest liquidity. U curve is self compounding, and so we kind of want to access that because it's really going to help people with the airdrops and stuff. They won't have, it's more gas efficient. And part of this all with like using Viper code is it's more gas efficient as well. And obviously Viper's kind of has some roots and homes in the Curve convex ecosystem. And so, the NFTs, the llamas themselves are ERC 721s, but the badges, a lot of people know POAPs, proof of protocol attendance, and they're ERC 1155s. And they've really they haven't, there's not a huge amount of use cases for them out there. And so we're kind of making this new use case or expanding the use case of 1155s with the badges. And they're a lot, more gas friendly as well. So they aren't all like, not everybody's going to get their own badge. Like one badge is going to be deployed and then it can be assigned to everybody who earns it through the 1155 model. But yeah, so I mean, we're going to be we're going to be doing some classic flywheeling, everything top.
We love the flywheel here. We are the flywheel podcast.
Yes, this is it. This is the home.
This is a home.
We're going to be, I think we've basically decided on the U curve for the self compounding, and that's kind of part of where the Llama Air Force kind of some of that code comes into play. And we really care. We thought about, there's so many different liquid wrappers and stuff for Curve. And we went through them all, the pros and the cons, and we really do like Convex's Curve, especially the new wrapper V2s. You just came out. You can pick stable, or you can pick your yield, and it has it's a little bit off peg, but in a way, right now it's a good thing for us. We think the peg's going to come back, especially with the new use cases, with the buybacks, and in the deep liquidity. Of course, the deep liquidity is a big thing.
Of course. Yeah.
So,
Can't beat
so
that.
you're talking about using the funds you receive from the mint, and then to go and buy these CVX, CRV, or U curve, or all of these, and then put it into the treasury. Is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And
exactly.
Okay.
Panda can add here.
Yeah. So, as we see it, we decided that our main treasury asset will be convex curve. As we don't have voting, we haven't
Mhm.
rolled out voting yet. We can progress onto acquiring other coins as we've deployed our governance. It just made it more transparent. And now, as PK just said, with the new wrapper, we can choose governance tokens or thing. We'll stick to the governance tokens for sure, and the bear doesn't make any sense.
Mhm.
So as way we see it is that yeah, we will stick with convex curve at the beginning.
Mhm.
However, we're in discussions with the other protocols for grants for things, and these will then be brought in and flywheeled as well. So we've got our mint, we've got our grants, then we can take in the fees from trading, the royalty fees. If we see some nice price discovery, this kind of all adds up. And as everyone knows, we're kind of peak bear still, or maybe just kind of creeping out of it. So what we can accumulate now can
Really
become,
make a difference.
can really make a difference, like long term looking forward. I don't want to hype anything that will be kicking out crazy yield straight away. It's like a slow, gradual build, and it's non-dilutable. Right? There's other things that we can attract, such as getting people to delegate their voting weight towards us if they like what they're doing. If they don't have a llama, there's many different angles that we can come at it.
So,
and put
what
forward.
type? You guys don't have governance from the get-go, but what types of governance are you considering? Is it going to be like one NFT, one vote? Is it going to be maybe a representative democracy? Is it going to be something else entirely? Have you guys thought about the future governance of the llamas?
Author? Yeah. Let me take this. I think we need to try and keep it as simple as possible in the early stages. We didn't want to make decisions before we had a community. We've only just opened our Discord, onboarding our things. We're pre-mint. It's also dependent upon where we get our grants from and what corresponding weights we assign. We want to be positive sum. So, for example, if we get a grant from StakeDAO, part of our delegation should go towards helping their peg. It can't all just be yield based. It's got to help and foster each individual protocol as well. Another part that we're still working out is our allegation towards Viper development. Like we spoke about this a little bit before, but we're eyeballing a non-notional percentage towards that, because we think that incentivizing Viper development long term is going to be a huge kicker for the ecosystem.
Yeah.
So we have to then talk to our community, which we can do once we've minted out and they're holders ourselves. So I think we've got a few paths we're prepared to go down, and then we'll talk to our holders as well and try and funnel it down.
It's interesting talking about funding Viper. It takes me back to 2019 when they were talking about funding Ethereum development directly through Ethereum inflation. That obviously didn't go through, but it was interesting that they were considering it. They disagreed that those rewards should be distributed at that level. But with Curve, I think you guys recognize that Viper's kind of the underdog compared to Solidity, but still has is obviously a force and obviously has its benefits. I'm not a developer, I don't code, but I have done my research into Viper and Solidity, and Viper clearly has its advantages, especially when it comes to being more gas conscious and everything. So kudos to you guys on that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's I mean, yeah, it's important to have multiple code bases for Ethereum and for DeFi. And Viper, it's missing some of the toolkits and stuff that Solidity has. And so if we can just help even a little bit get some of those toolkits built and some of that more kind of back-end coding type stuff for new developers coming in, it's going to really expand the ecosystem and create increased security.
Yeah, and create a positive flywheel effect for Viper development.
Yeah, and positive.
Yeah, that's something we kind of talk about, is that we're trying to be this talent flywheel, that like we're trying to pull in as much talent as we can and like keep them and like add to what's like tied into the Curve ecosystem and just grow it.
Yeah, for sure. And so what's like been working, you guys are DeFi guys. It's a whole different world than NFTs. So what's it like working on an NFT project? Like what are some, things that are similar to the DeFi world? What are things that, are different you didn't expect?
Yeah, I'll say really quickly, almost everyone on the team is a DeFi, used to be a DeFi maxi, is a DeFi maxi. Now we're all kind of accepting NFTs that they can't have a use case, and we're trying to prove it.
NFTs can have use cases. It is
NFT
possible.
curious.
Yes,
NFT
yeah.
curious
NFT
right now.
curious. Yeah,
Like
dipping your toes.
yeah, we're more than dipping our toes now. But like one
Yeah.
thing I didn't know about, a lot of the people on the team didn't know about, we started like how, writing down the basic mint mechanics and like, the layout and how it all works and the different phases and all of that. And one person on our team, Ninika, is an NFT maxi, and she's helped us a lot with like the NFT side of stuff. And so one thing I didn't even know about, I knew like a whitelist existed, and that was like a ticket for the whales or whoever earned it to mint, ahead of everyone else. And it seemed kind of like an unfair thing in a way to me. So we're well, one thing like slightly tangenting, but not too much tangenting. But we're like, we're making sure we don't just all the whales are going to mint. Everyone in the community has a chance to get these like whitelists in different spots and stuff just by participating in the community, making memes, doing our like llama contest, just showing up on Twitter, showing their love. So
showing up.
yeah,
that's
show
always
up.
the most. Yeah, that's always the most important thing of anything. Is just showing up. That's 80% of anything.
Yeah, but the thing I didn't know about, I knew about whitelist, but I didn't know there's a whole nother thing called allow list now. So it's like allow list is tier 1, and then whitelist is like tier 2, and then there's like the general open public. So we're implementing like an allow list, and then the allow list is basically a guaranteed mint for the first kind of whatever X amount of hours, and then the whitelist is like the next not guaranteed mint, but you have a chance to compete for it. And then if we don't mint out, of course it goes to a public, but we think we're gonna definitely think we're gonna be minting out through by halfway into the whitelist. But the allow lists we're like we're giving out allow lists. There's less of them available, but we're giving them out. There's special ones for people people working on the actual protocols in the ecosystem. So different teams are making sure we get a couple allow lists to each kind of team in the Curve, Frax, Convex, wider ecosystem, StakeDAO, Yearn, list goes on and on and on, Bodium, etc. And then also though, community members themselves can be earning these allow lists. So the current contest we have going on, there's 1,111 of these llamas, but we're going to pick at least 50 are going to come from people actually in the community. And we have a whole guide and stuff on how to create a llama in the exact style that we have. And we're going to like go through and pick the best ones. Cool. We're going to assign people, an allow list. And that means they can not only guarantee that they're going to mint, but, maybe they'll mint their own llama. And people are going to want to buy their own llama on the secondary. Why wouldn't you? It's your, it's literally your llama. So we're trying to get the community as involved as, we possibly can, all the way down, to the literal art.
So you guys said, go ahead, Kiet.
I just want to ask PK real quick on the same topic. So should Dave and I give you our address now, or should we wait until like after the show? Just to be, so everyone's on the same page.
We got one allow list for each of you guys on the flywheel for sure.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Allow. Yeah. I better get to prompting my llama, which leads to my next question. What's it like been working with AI to generate these llamas? You know, you've been using Midjourney, I assume. Like,
Yeah. So we use
what's it like prompting? Like, yeah, but how do you like perfect your prompts? Because these are things I think about.
Midjourney is it's a crazy journey itself. You know, I've been using Midjourney many months now. I keep learning and getting better and stuff. I spent a long time making the kind of the basic prompt list. So you kind of paste this prompt list that we've built,
Mm.
and then you edit just a certain couple parts of it. So you edit like the pieces around the llama. So like you can be like whatever, sci-fi, cyberpunk, samurai llama, and then you can change some other stuff like the color of the eyes or the background. But then you leave all the other stuff like the 8K resolution, the realistic fur, etc., etc.
I want an Arizona iced tea llama. I want like
Oh, that's the thing. You can make any your mind, your
yeah.
creativity is the only limit.
Oh, that would be really sick to see.
We're
I made one out of a tendies a few days ago, so yeah, I think you can
Ooh.
totally pull it off.
We've seen a lot
I
of
gotta
mushroom
like
llamas hitting the contest.
oh
So going on is like for some of them, I use Photoshop to touch up some llamas as well and some customs. So a lot of we did a lot of research as DeFi people into like blue chip NFTs and how they work and stuff, and the different tiers. And so like Azukis have the ghosts or in the gold whatever stuff going on, and lots of these NFT projects have like the limited 1% or 5% of them have this specialty kind of thing on them. So I don't know if you can see my PFP there. There's a llama with some frax size, and so with
ooh yes.
yeah, so we use Photoshop to make some custom llamas, kind of with different ecosystem protocols. So we have like some frax llamas, some specialty curve llamas, specialty convex llamas. In our contest, I saw a pretty cool stake DAO llama. It's probably going to be a winner. We'll have to vote. I can't say it now, but it was pretty cool. And so these llamas, we're working on the code and everything to see if as a base, without pre-badge and stuff, these specialty llamas will all kind of have an extra boost associated with them. So they don't just look cool. They have properties that make them rarer.
Yeah, they not only look cool, but they all are cool.
They are cool, and people identify
yeah.
just like people have their PFP on Twitter. People be in the years to come be rocking their llama, and it's not just like your ape or whatever like that you can rock. It's like because of the badges and the semi kind of soul-bound nature of it all. It's like not only do I have my llama, I'm like an OG. Look, I have the badge from the original mint. I have the badge from my 4-year lock. I have the badge from my contribution to the risk team. And it's kind of be like an OG status symbol.
I really like this idea of badges because DJ and Spartan just came out with a thread about the gamification of having an LSD, and like gamification is such an underutilized aspect of DeFi and crypto, and like people like to show off, people like to but they don't like to say like, hey, this is how much money I have. No, they like to like have a watch or something else like that. Like this could these badges could be a way of kind of showing off, like not only like showing off like, hey, like this is like I'm flexing, like no, this is like what I've done. These are like my stripes. Like I
earned
like
it. Yeah, I did work.
I earned these
stripes. I didn't
stripes.
you can't buy a badge. You can't do that. You have to earn it.
Yeah. You got to earn these badges. It's like you can flex like your merit and like what you contributed to the ecosystem, which I think is a definitely missing aspect to it all, because there's so many unsung heroes in the background, that don't get enough notice, and like these badges are kind of like giving them notice, like the soldiers in the field grinding day in and day out to make this DeFi thing a thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, when
totally. And then, sorry,
I'll say,
I was just gonna say, just to play off that, like you have this badge, like proving that like I can code like a really great front end, and as we were talking about previously, is that the llamas and like the curve world is kind of the like cream of the crop, like a little bit. Once you start to collect these badges, it becomes a great recruitment tool. As like as the market turns around and like new protocols are just getting like created.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kiet.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, curve, convex, frax, we all agree is the center of DeFi, et cetera, et cetera. But we're going to need more actual human talent to contribute to these projects in order for it to really proliferate. But for someone to even understand how all of this works right from the beginning is extremely difficult. So like I love
Oh
these
yeah.
ideas of like these learning badges to kind of get someone up to par. Like imagine going through an interview. Like let's say I'm in the Frax core team and I'm about to interview this person. And I was like, man, I don't know where I can start in this interview. Do they already know Frax? Like, do I need to go back to V1? But if they can just quickly check their llama badges and be like, oh, okay, this dude's an OG. Okay, we could just dive right in. So the llama badge almost acts as like a great talent filter for not just the curve, ecosystem people, but for any future projects that wants to hire a community manager, for example, be like, oh yes, I definitely want to target the most talkative llama badge people to be my chat moderator, for example.
You're reading our
You
mind.
get it, man. You get it.
You get it.
Yeah.
I don't. Hawth might want to talk a little. I don't know how much we want to say, but like on our V4 or our rollout like stage 4 plus, we're thinking about some integrations with. Well, I'll let maybe Hawth. I don't know what I can say and what I can't, so I'll let Hawth maybe talk about it or not.
Yeah. We all promised not to go past two and a half today, but I don't think you
break the
but,
pack.
Yeah, I know,
Give us a
right? But
hint.
like
Give us
as we're
something.
talking, yeah. Like I think as you can picture, you're beginning to you have a treasury that kicks off like a yield. You have a ability to direct that, and you're creating this talent pool of like really top notch up 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 coders to like designers, community managers. You don't have to squint too hard to kind of picture how all that could come together. Like we don't want to talk about it too much because we have to launch the project, but we have some really big plans for how we're not only positive us but can actually tangibly grow the ecosystem.
Yeah. A little bit of a hint. Just a little bit for us.
Yeah.
I know. I think Panda's coming to my house right now to like turn off my computer.
Yeah. Shut it down.
Okay. Can I ask just one general question? Like, why did you limit it to only 1 1 1 1 1?
Oh yeah, that's an easy one to answer. Is 99% of NFT projects, right? They like make 10 layers in Photoshop and randomize it, and you make all your layers, and then you can mint. You can mint 1K, 10K, 100K. It doesn't matter, but every one of these is handmade. And to make the A tier, Mid Journey it can be finicky. It can take 3 or 4 renders to get an A tier llama, or sometimes it depends on the prompt. Some prompts are way harder to get that perfect llama. I mean, I'll just say the example. The hardest one I've worked with was trying to get like a 3-headed kind of Greek mythology llama,
Like a hydra.
exactly. Okay. And boy,
a high drama.
yes. And, Mid Journey did not like that, and it over 300 renders to get one.
300,
like 8+ hours to get a single llama, and when you have 1,000.
Yeah, that's a super rare llama. You better give that one like super powers.
Oh yeah, it's a special one. It's going. It's definitely yeah. We have plans for it.
We got some special plans.
I see.
Yeah,
because I figure like just go ahead, Panda.
Oh no, sorry. No, you go ahead. I don't want to.
Oh, sorry, I couldn't hear you. Can you repeat that, Panda?
I was going to say that we're limited to 1,111, but this is like an MVP as well. If people see what we're trying to do and it needs to expand, there is always room potentially that you could move into derivative, a second mint. That's getting way ahead of ourselves. Scope
Oh,
is always there. It depends on, how the
You're
market
getting us
reacts.
too excited here. Second mint.
Well, one of the
I
things
like
in our
that.
NFT research is the Nouns project. Just, we looked
I
at
was gonna say.
dozens of different high quality NFT projects trying to just see the different ways people did different things. And the Nouns have a unique way to slowly add to their collection without diluting, based on kind of TVL, yield, treasury holding, the current holders voting on it, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, dude, you nailed it. Because I was about to bring up the Nouns because out of all the DAO or NFT DAO treasuries, I was like, I'm pretty sure Nouns is one of the largest one, and the best part is it's all in damn ETH. So,
Yeah.
like that's the one you want to mimic after they have like mini Nouns as well too. So to not
Mini
take away from
nouns.
the main Nouns. So, and I love that you're already thinking about this derivative llama or the second mint or
And the
derivative D
community
llamas.
has a voice in
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. I love this slow rollout, but extremely open and flexible and nimble to adapt to, like, say, increased demand. So I definitely think the approach you guys are taking is much
Yeah.
more sustainable.
And so there's something I've been working on in the background for a bit, like kind of on the side. And you guys have the llamas for Curve. I've been trying to make like the cocks for Frax. I've been trying to work on Frax cocks. Yeah, I'm not sure if you guys saw my grant proposal last week, but I don't have like this plan of like, oh, we're gonna like manage this like treasury, this and that, like not really none of that yet, but like I just want to like build some NFT collect because people have come up to me, they message me saying like, why doesn't Frax have NFTs, structured NFTs? Travis, you're in the trading group, you see Travis with his chickens,
Yes, the
and
golden
everybody
chicken.
loves the golden eggs, the golden chicken that lays the golden eggs. And it's like, all right, I originally came up with this like during the whole Arc Gobblers hype. I was like, what if there was like some Frax Gobbler or some shit like that? But like that obviously didn't that matter just ended as quickly as it's we don't talk about that. Instantly.
They got
but I'm
gobbled
just like,
up.
yeah, but no, I was like talking to a few people. I was talking to Sam and a few people. It's just like it makes sense for there to be, a pseudo swap pool would be real interesting with the NFT and Frax. It's just to set that up. And I've been like talking to a few. I'm like, a little bit of an update, some alpha for everyone. Art is like almost done. Then I just need to like connect it, like get it to a contract. I've been talking to a few people to like help and volunteer. But yeah, maybe we can do some like Fraxcock Llama Alliance, in the future.
Hell yeah, that's great.
Yeah. I really don't have like I'm open to ideas. Like if anybody has any ideas for Fraxcox, if anybody wants to help, like just jump in our Telegram, Flywheel, Phi, and
Yeah.
open to suggestions.
I think we could probably make a badge for that.
Oh, a Fraxcock badge. Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah. I'm just like thinking of like having a group chat or something of like everybody that's like and have like 12/21 or 12/20. Whatever, like the date that Frax was born. That's how many Fraxcocks exist. And that's how many wherever exist. But yeah, I'm like, I'm very curious of like, your guys' experience and like maybe there's some way to collaborate, like, once we get Fraxcox off the ground. Like don't plan them, it's just like pseudo swaps, like bringing utility to Frax and stuff.
Yeah,
Totally. That's something that we've talked about is that we plan to have a protocol owned llamas, POL, if you've ever heard of it. We've been kind of talking about how we can use those kind of those tools like that to help create a liquidity within the project and help keep the price at a great place. So there's like a based ghouls is a great pioneer with just like trying to create LP pools, and it's like a really cool to watch them. And I can't wait to try it on our own.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we have some protocol owned cocks in the future. You never know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's cool. I love seeing the DeFi people get into NFTs, and maybe you see like NFT people getting into DeFi with their NFT perps and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like
That's the goal.
it's it's all one thing at the end. Oh, wow, there's my mug. It's all one thing. Like at the end of the day, it's just like on-chain world where you can act and function permissionlessly and be able to access all these dApps that would historically have taken a lot of gatekeeping and this friction and this and that. But like what's beautiful about the world on chain is it's just like one click, boom, and it's just all permissionless and sovereign. So it's really cool, like what you guys are building.
Oh, thanks. It's
Thanks.
nice to hear that from you guys.
Yeah.
You're legit. Favorite podcast. One of the only ones I listen to continually, regularly. So it's great to
Yes.
be on, and SudoSwap really is amazing. And we're not gonna, some projects have tried to use it to create like synthetic floors and then break and weird stuff like that. And we're definitely not doing anything like that. Like we do want to use SudoSwap with not all, but some of our protocol owned llamas. Not to mess with the price, but to more create stability and to
some floor
and create liquidity, because that's a big problem with NFTs. It's the liquidity. So we want to make sure there's liquidity to a certain
it's a big
extent.
problem with fungible tokens as well.
Yes, and and there'll be yield and all that extra. Is one more little revenue source. All those percent swap fees. Anytime someone buys or sells a llama from the pool, it's going to go to the treasury. Be kicked back into the flywheel and airdropped.
Yeah. And
so
go ahead, Kiet.
I just wanted to ask, like, what are you guys envisioning as the day one utility of llama? Like, literally, right after I minted this llama, what can I do with it?
Twitter PFP. Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll
First
get a
on-chain
Stallone
utility.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. Rocky llama.
Yeah, Rocky llama. But on-chain utility, what can I do with my Rocky llama?
Well, that first month, there isn't going to, the utility comes slowly with the rollout. So that first kind of month as we're, as the llamas sell and then we're begin to accumulate our treasury, like, it's going to be, we're collecting ETH, from the sale, but we're not going to instantly just day one buy all the curve we can. We're going to, slowly over a month or two, turn that ETH into curve at kind of key points and maximize what we can do with it. And so we also want to kind of create that little bit of time gap, not long, but, at least a couple of weeks, maybe a month plus, and let people flip. So, the limited amount of llamas can fall into the hands of long-term holders. Of course, the NFT G-gens who aren't in DeFi or maybe they're experimenting, they're going to come in and I'm sure they're going to flip. And all those little tiny swap fees, royalties are going to, come back to us and really help grow our treasury early on. And also at the same time, that'll get the llamas into the long-term holders who really believe in the ecosystem or who want to, join the ecosystem as a new member.
Can I stack llamas and get boosted yields?
Oh, well.
Llama and llama and llama.
So
yes, sir.
I'll mention the GMX Blueberry Club here because they're one of the few DeFi NFT kind of connected projects where they also have a portion of real yield through a grant through their ESGMX airdrops. And it's not, the blueberries aren't locked, but to get that airdrop, you have to hold your blueberry basically the whole month or you won't get it. So we're implementing a similar thing with the llama where it's like they're not locked themselves. It's not like VE locked llama, but if you're swapping and trading your llama around or flipping them, you're not going to be getting that airdrop. You need to hold it, for a number of weeks of that month to get the airdrop at the end of each month. And on top of that, like the ES or the blueberries, it's like you can have one blueberry or 20 blueberries. It doesn't matter. The amount of ESGMX you get is based off just the fact that you have one blueberry plus the GMX you have staked. And very much unlike that, each llama has its yield. So if you own one llama, you get 1,000th, 111th of the treasury, flywheel that month. If you own 10 llamas, you get 111. If you own 100 llamas, you're getting 10%. So it makes it so that it doesn't limit people to just one. So if there's a whale out there who really loves curve and they want to buy 50 llamas, they're going to get the yield for all 50.
Wow. This is a way for like curve maxis to be even more maxi. I can see curve cap just like getting 100 llamas and just like riding them into the sunset. He has an army of llamas,
and and if that happens,
rises Yeah, rises way to Curve being number one.
It boosts, it boosts the floor in a natural way. And we're not, we're not about the price per se, but as the price does go up, that 2.5, I think we've nearly settled on a 2.5 royalty, which is a lot less than other NFTs that are 5, 7.5, 10. But the floor going up, that 2.5 adds, makes a lot more the higher the price for everyone.
And as we talk about Curve, we don't just mean Curve the coin. We mean all the players that connect to it, because we would love to see Frax, and we're creating llamas that are like tied to Frax. We're creating Avi and Convex and Cleaver and all these protocols that we're trying to act as this connective tissue between all of them. And when we talk about Curve, we mean like the whole
shebang,
the whole flotilla. Yeah, exactly.
The whole llama.
The whole llama. Yeah. We really take inspiration from the Llama Risk, the crypto risk team, and the neutral part of it. Like that's the thing that's kind of missing in a part in the Curve ecosystem is every new stable dollar protocol or synthetic protocol or whatever it is, they're voting for their best interest, not for the best interest of Curve itself. So kind of like the Llama Risk, we want to help everyone in the ecosystem and help Curve so that everyone can benefit, not just one protocol. Yeah, we're using convex Curve with because of the deep liquidity and stuff, but we are accumulating the other protocols as well. We're never selling any grants. We're locking in perpetuity, and our votes are going to be going towards the health of the ecosystem.
Amen. Do you have any more questions about the llamas? Because I have like one last question just about like Curve and its place in general, and then I think we can wrap up.
Okay. No, go ahead, Dave.
Yeah. So like, something that I love to ask, all our guests, especially when we talk about Curve, is like you have this duality in AMOs between Curve and Uniswap, and like the different ways you go about, provide, being a marketplace for liquidity in the ecosystem. So like Curve or like a place, an arena for liquidity in the ecosystem. So Curve and Uniswap, like how do the two evolve like together?
Yeah.
Or do you see them clashing heads? Do you see them like, kind of having their own lanes? Like, like Uniswap's more for like retail liquidity and they got into NFTs, while Curve is more of just like DAO to DAO, like deep DeFi stuff. Like, what do you guys think?
I don't think maybe we can all answer. I don't think they have to compete. I know a lot of people are like, Max, like, if you're into Curve, you hate Uni or vice versa and stuff. And in a way, I don't own any Uni token because I don't see the point. There's no revenue share. It's not decentralized in the same way. Why would I own it? But I love the product, especially Uni V3. I think there's different use cases. Uni V3 is really amazing. It's like a double-edged sword in a way if you don't know what you're doing, but it's one of the most powerful tools in DeFi. You don't use it to like yield farm long term. You don't like say I want to pair ETH and stable dollar and farm it for a year. It's a tool to.
So you're in and out.
It's a tool to DCA. Yeah. So one big use case I'll say a lot of people don't really think about for Uniswap V3 is if you're into like a small liquidity, altcoin on Arbitrum or Polygon or something like that. Maybe you're not like a massive whale, but say you have 10 or 20K worth of this altcoin and there's only a couple 100K liquidity. You might incur like 10% slippage and loss, if you try to swap from that altcoin back to ETH. Well, with Uni V3, if that altcoin is outperforming ETH, you can set an extremely tight floor and ceiling, start it with like 100% pairing on the altcoin. It's going to DCA into ETH really quickly. You're not going to incur the slippage and you're going to collect a little bit of fees, and lets you kind of trade swap without doing it the normal way.
Sounds like a W.
Yeah, but I think Curve, of course, Curve has its own amazing things that Uniswap will never be able to do with its governance, with the deep liquidity, stabilizing stable dollars. Uniswap's never going to be able to compete in the stable dollar launchpad ecosystem the way Curve does. I don't think anyone ever will. I think that time has passed. I remember I listened to the Curve Cap episode with you guys just a week or two ago. And you're saying, the VE token model, it's like everybody's copied it now. There's, I think the only two, that are being used now are kind of the VE and the ES token models. And it's like, if Curve launched now, would they still be able to be where they're at? And the answer is maybe no. And maybe nobody can do that. You know, they already have that deep, sticky liquidity. It's hard to redo that. Like, that early days of DeFi happened. You can't kind of recreate it. So Curve, you know,
Yeah.
is here to stay. It has that. Nothing can really take that away from it.
Absolutely. And how do you guys think like Bouncer has executed their VE system, especially in Aura built on top?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an interesting platform, and it's like, at least to me, it's like you want to be with the pioneer, not the one that's like kind of, I don't want to say copying, but the one that's a little behind, because like crypto changes really, really quickly. And yeah, and like I've always loved how a balancer, you can do like 80%, 20% like pools. I think that's a interesting model, but how they have their tokens kind of more like a Bancor allowed Humpty to get a lot of power, and I don't know where they go from here, because you have this like monster you have to kind of put like tribute to.
Is Humpty like a large whale within the Bancor ecosystem?
Oh, he's in a balancer. He has been able to kind of, I don't want to say take over, but like he's kind of like the Godzilla in the room when they're trying to launch new tokens or
Humpty.
pools, or even, yeah, it's Humpty, I think, Humpy, like the humpback whale.
I thought like Humpty Dumpty.
Yeah,
Humpty Dumpty
He's
too.
gonna go
maybe
dump on-
that too.
Humpty Dumpty's gonna dump on you.
Yeah.
Interesting. I gotta look into that more. But yeah, interesting to see like, you know, all these different, like I said, arenas for liquidity. And honestly, like Curve has pioneered, you know, this whole governance game per se, like the VE system. And I feel like you guys are like the continuation of this, but in the NFT space, because you can continue this gamification and with it, like with your badges and everything. It's really interesting, really cool. And, you know, you gave us some hints of what you guys are up to. You haven't revealed the full master plan, but, you know, in Flywheel, we'll take the breadcrumbs. We'll eat them up, you know, and we'll be really excited when you come on next time, you know, when you have the big reveal, when you're past like V4 and just like, oh, like all this stuff is going on. And then it's just like, what's next? To like maybe you have your derivatives and you have baby llamas or something like that.
Many waifu questions. Yeah, we'll leave it there.
Yeah, we'll leave that for next
breeding
time.
llamas. Oh, that's going to be hilarious. CT is gonna have a field day with breeding llamas.
We'll leave it off on that note. Yeah,
a llama farm. We're just breeding llamas.
And so now at the end of the interviews, we like to do a lightning round. We like to get to know our guests more. And so, Kiet, I'll kick it off with you.
Yeah, let's do this. I want to start off with Panda here. And what was your virgin crypto experience? When did you first touch the chain? And sexes don't count.
We're talking on chain here.
On chain, you have first time you touched it.
I think my first time was bridging from a sex onto a hot wallet and panicking using Uniswap for the first time. As I got like that kind of that error, or like, do you want to import this address?
You're like,
and I was like, oh shit, do I want to import this address?
Do I want to import this address?
No, honestly. So I just clicked yes. Yeah, I think that's my first memory of using like going on chain.
PK, what about you?
Oh yeah, it's pretty funny actually. It's quite a good learning experience. I'm American. I think it was before Binance US was around, or maybe I don't remember exactly. But I don't think
Mm.
I don't know. But anyway, so I was through Coinbase. I was like the main US thing there. But for whatever reason, I like heard about Pancake Swap. And I was like, I need to get over there and farm. I need to get some cake. I need to farm over there. You know,
I need some
BSC.
cakes.
And yeah, and it was very difficult to get over there as an American without any BNB. So I ended up having to learn how to like my first transaction. I had to learn how to bridge like two different places because I could get to BNB, but then or you know the BSC Binance Chain, but I couldn't. I didn't have any BNB, so I didn't have any gas. So I had to like go from Ethereum to Harmony and then buy BNB on like a tiny liquidity pool of like 10K and then bridge that over to BSC and then use that to buy cake and then stake the cake. And of course, you
He took
know,
the scenic route.
yeah,
He took.
yeah. And then, you know, of course, get rugged on a couple random, you know, random things on BSC, not knowing what's going on. And it was a great
Dude,
experience and I learned so much.
Wow.
I had so
That
much
was the
fun
first
farming.
time?
Yeah, I had so much fun farming pancakes back in the day because when pancakes were popping off, like you had ETH people seething. They're like, "Oh, fuck this BSC." And I'm just like, I'm
Yeah.
like, you know, we're like rolling in the cakes, and I'm just like, I can't believe I'm farming something called Pancake Swap. You know those, but yeah,
Wow. PK, applaud to you for going through the most intense virgin experience I've heard so far.
It was, I
Two
also
learned so
bridges.
much. Yeah.
also some alpha for everyone. Like if you're looking for bridge aggregation, I go to Bungee.exchange. It's
Oh,
Bungee. I
good
know
one.
it's Bungee. Like it's phenomenal. It finds you like the best rates and like
Oh,
bridges. You
Bungie's
know, if you're
great.
gonna
We used
Bungie's
Bungie
phenomenal.
2 days ago.
Yeah,
We just made our multi-sig and we're trying to get we're getting a lens account. We're talking to Stanny. And anyways,
yeah.
we want to get a little bit of Matic on our vault on Polygon.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like traveling right now. I don't have my ledger. I just have my hot wallet. I don't have any Matic on my hot wallet. And you know, Bungee lets you just kind of transfer and send. So I just sent some ETH from Arbitrum over to Poly, you know, and it automatically arrived as Matic. So you know,
Yeah.
kudos to
Shout out,
Bungee.
shout out Bungee. Yeah. Hoth, what about you? Your first
Um,
time touching the chain.
is this any chain, or are you guys talking
Your
Any
first chain,
chain.
any chain, and
Any
your
chain.
first chain.
Oh man.
We don't discriminate. Love is love.
Yeah, love is
Like
love. It's a multi-chain world for a reason.
I know, right? So like any good noob in 2017, I really bought into the ETH killer narratives, and my first on chain was pulling ant shares off of some like sketchy exchange that probably like closed down the next morning to try to get a gas token and just
Dude,
kind of trapping
Anxious
myself.
Neo popped off like 2017. Holy shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I I felt like a genius, and then I gave it all back. So
Yeah.
I guess that's
Many
just
such
part of your
cases, don't worry.
process.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
It's
gotta
not
trust the
Neo, right?
process.
The
Yeah, now
Chinese
it's a
ETH
Neo.
killer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
they
they had
had
like
yeah.
they had like 2 nodes, and it was like the like hottest coin ever.
I remember they tried to make Neo a thing during DeFi Summit. They're like Flamingo DAO, and then it just completely shit the bed. It was just, and that was the last I heard of Neo. And
Yeah,
I'm just
me
like,
too.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Next question. Did we lose Panda
Panda.
there? Okay, now
We
he's
got
back. Okay.
the Panda
think he's
has
back.
returned.
Okay. So
Next question.
second question. I want to run it back turbo, starting with Hawth here. Is what is your favorite off-chain touch grass activity? What are some of your hobbies and interests?
Shit. I love camping and just like traveling. Like I like to be I like to go to a place that's far from home. I think there's kind of like a truth to it, if you know what I mean.
I do. Panda, how about you?
It's funny you should ask this. Hawthorne was talking to me about this like the other day, saying touching grass again, get outside, speak with friends and stuff, and I was like, yeah, don't have kids. So my kind of kids are like, that's my touch and grasp at the moment. You know, between launching llamas, going outside, playing with them, it doesn't really leave much time for anything else. So hopefully this all takes off, and then they can, take some time off and start traveling again and moving around a bit.
Yeah, you and me both. Well, actually, no, I'm in the opposite of you. I've been traveling nonstop.
Yeah,
And so,
Dave is
yeah,
globe trotting.
yeah. Leads to, I guess, my turn. What happened to PK?
PK. Yeah, I'm not sure.
PK. Yeah, PK. Well, anyways, we'll move on to the next one. Maybe I'll come back. But Hawth, let's go to you. What would be some of your advice you would give to your younger self?
This time's not different.
This time is not different.
Good
I like that
Good
one.
one.
Yeah, elegantly put. Panda, to you.
Wow, that's hard. I think like probably try things earlier and don't put them off. Like, remember when I was younger, I would say like, there's always time, there's always time, there's always time, and there's just not. Just fucking go out, do it, try it, and swing.
I like that one too. Okay. Last question here to kind of wrap it all up. Let's start with Panda here. If you weren't in crypto, what would your professional career path be today?
Oh, so I was in hostels in Central America before I got into crypto. So I was quite nomadic, and crypto is kind of like good for that. That was like when it was a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'd probably be doing the same thing that I'm doing now, but from somewhere a lot sunnier. Than where I live, like probably close to a beach, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's yeah. I probably going back to those roots again, a bit more traveling. Yeah.
Okay. All right. How about you, Hoth?
What really pulled me into crypto is that I love sci-fi. So I would probably try to like explore that and write as much as I could.
Oh, like sci-fi novels and stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Very fitting.
Oh.
Yeah. Sweet. Hope on that
How about
note.
you guys?
What I'd be doing. We got PK back.
My phone died. I just restarted. I'm on 1% battery. It'll probably die again.
Yeah. We'll hit you with two questions real quick. One, if you weren't what would be some advice to your younger self?
DCA out profits, in a bull market, and
That doesn't
in the
count.
bear market.
That doesn't count. That doesn't count. Something else.
I don't know. Well, make sure you have strong conviction. I guess when I started, I was in, I had like 20 or 30 or 40 coins, like all these random altcoin positions. You can't follow it all. You don't know what's going on. Just do deep research and make strong convictions, and maybe no more than 5 or 10. Right now I only hold like 6 coins or something like that I really understand and I believe in, and I don't care about the price because I know where they're going.
My man. And then if you weren't in crypto, what would your professional career be today?
Oh, I don't know. DeFi is all I do now. It's all I've done for a while. I don't have a backup plan right now.
No. Think back to when the teacher asked you, what did you want to be when you grow up?
Ooh. At one point, I really wanted to be an architect. I think like designing things, designing homes, it's pretty cool. I was like into wanting to make like a green home, or like homes like with a partial hill roof, like you have a garden on the roof and stuff like that. But I was always like making a home part of nature. Kind of was a cool thing in my mind.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And whoever asked, like, what would we be doing if we weren't in crypto? I I think I'd be in politics, actually. I think I'd probably be like either in state politics in New Jersey or California or the federal level, like lobbying something. I'd probably be like going to law school or something like that. Maybe in securities law. I'd probably be to do something along those lines. If I didn't get into a much more normie, boring life. Or I might have just fucked off and just like hosteled and just like floated around South America for 10 years. Who knows? I have two wolves in me. It's like professional Dave or vagabond Dave.
Yeah, and then for me, I think I will be a watchmaker.
Ooh.
That's a good
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Probably a watchmaker. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, there's the path where I become sponsored by Arizona Iced Tea, which could happen whether in a
Still,
non-crypto
yes.
or crypto world. If Arizona, if you're listening, there's no one that reps you harder than me in stablecoins. Sponsor me. Hit me up.
Yes, he is your online presence.
I need to like make like a whole video, honestly, about that and just present it to them. But that's a story for another day. Guys, the llamas, Hawth, Panda, PK, thank you so much for coming on. We can't wait to see the llamas storm out the gate and take over DeFi and take over NFTs and take over Web3 and take over everything on chain and then some. Thanks, guys, for coming on.
Oh,
Thank you for having us.
thank
Hey,
you.
thank you so much for
Yeah, man.
having us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're pumped. Be prepared for the llama
It's been epic.
stampede.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for watching this episode of Flywheel with the llamas. And you know what? It wasn't just the llamas, it was the alpha. Kiet, what are your final thoughts?
Dude, I am so excited when they mentioned like there's this now social layer on top of DeFi that kind of integrates like into this flywheel stuff. And I'm just seeing all kinds of integration in the future of how to apply that, like especially for us, right? Like we would get badges for starting the flywheel pod and like being a participant and a contributor to the space. I think it's really dope.
Yeah, definitely recognition is something that's underrated by crypto in general. And they've really made it a point to offer recognition to those who contribute. And I think people are maybe underwriting like how much big of an impact. And like, you know, once people start flexing like their badges, I think you're going to see like, wait, like I want a llama too, like this and that. And one thing I really loved about these guys is like, you know, I just love talking to Curve ecosystem people because they're just so smart and so insightful. Like, you know, they're really such a natural ally to the Frax community that like I'd like to have more Curve peeps on in the future.
Yeah, and I also feel like they're doing it the right way. Like they're approaching DAO to get the grants, and you know maybe there will be some POLs, you know, protocol owned llamas.
Ooh,
You know,
POLs, yeah.
you know,
And
you
maybe one
never
day
know.
we'll have POC, some protocol owned Cox when Frax Cox come out. Yeah.
Yeah,
And if you want to keep up to date, whether, you know, when Frax Cox there, if you want to keep up to date, sorry, I had a coconut. Sorry. I'm sorry. If you want to keep up to if you want to keep up to date with everything Flywheel, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you leave us a comment. Make sure you subscribe to our Substack at Flywheel Outfit. And you give us a follow on Twitter at FlywheelFi. Give us, you know, some love in our Telegram. Let us know what you think at FlywheelFi. You can follow me on Twitter at DeFi Dave 22.
and you can follow me at 0xcapital_K. And I want to highlight again, please go to our Substack because we've been max output. This is what peak performance looks like, guys. And if you're not subscribed, you are definitely missing out.
Facts. And we'll see you next week.
Peace.
Everything said on this episode is not financial or tax advice. This channel is strictly for educational purposes and is not an investment advice or solicitation to buy or sell any assets or to make any financial decisions. This video is not tax advice whatsoever. Please talk to your accountant and do your own research.